Hey there. So we're into Tuesday, the 21st of July, 2026. And so this is just a short forecast to talk about what conversation the planets are having today, what we might notice, what we might be feeling as we're actually coming into Tuesday. So watch what comes up for you, and let's see how these forecasts are helping you to unfold and unpack some of the lessons that have been that you've been working through for really, really long time. I mean, this goes hand in hand with my overview for the week ahead. I'll post the link to that at the same time. Anyway, so Tuesday, the 21st of July, what's coming up? So we see today on Tuesday, the 21st, that we've got Jupiter in a sextile to Uranus. Now, I really, really love these two when they work together in a very sort of productive way. And sextiles are absolutely really busy aspects. So if we were to map this out, Uranus is here, and then Jupiter is here, and the angle between them is 60 degrees. That is what's known as the sextile. This is where we're really moving forwards with innovation and the need to change and the need to get a clearing, a sense of possibility. And also we're ready to expand upon that possibility. So, I mean, as you can imagine, the possibilities are endless, which absolutely epitomizes these two working together. Now, Uranus is in the sign of Gemini, which is all about communication and circulations of information. To me, this really is talking about social media in a huge way, news, all sorts of things that can come up into our consciousness. And then Jupiter in Leo is really talking about being seen. I mentioned this in my weekly overview, but the energy of being a bit more proud, not hiding away. It's, I'm really feeling my chest open when I talk about Jupiter in Leo, in particular, working with Uranus in Gemini. I really feel like we're about to share our information, share our truth, share how we feel about things. If you've got something that you're working on, you might choose to tell people about it, tell people what you're working on, tell people why it matters, why you matter, why why you do what you do. I think is really important, and I love that. I think this is a really lovely energy, especially if you've got things in Gemini and Leo. You'll be really feeling that energy. Now, that's the first or only of the major aspects, but we've also got the moon making lots of aspects too on this day. And the moon moves really swiftly through everything. So the moon is going to, first of all, make a square to the sun. And so, that will be when the moon is at 28 degrees in the sign of Libra. Now, that's interesting because the moon and the sun, in their square is letting us know that the moon is about to change what phase of the moon cycle it's in. So not that long ago, a week ago, we had the new moon in Cancer, and we went into a waxing moon phase. That's telling us that things are growing. We're in a growth period. And so the first part of the waxing moon phase is really about gentle new changes. It's encouraging us to kind of get the engine a little bit warmed up. But now we're getting to what's known as the first quarter. The moon is a quarter of the distance of the whole cycle away from the sun. That's telling us it's time to actually really rev the engine and to get going. So we're still in the growth phase, only it's going to grow and grow and grow so much faster over this week ahead. So the moon in a square to the sun is a signal to us that it's time to pull our finger out and to really get going. Then soon after that, the moon is going to go into the sign of Scorpio. And that's, again, when we start to really connect in with something that might feel sort of ancient. It might feel like a core energy. It feels very much, it's so funny that I was talking about an engine. It really feels like we're getting to something where there's a lot of power. So you're not having to just have these intellectual ideas and kind of run from like talking through your head. You're really bringing that energy down and talking, if we're talking about our communication, we're talking from our diaphragm with a lot more power behind us. So this is really synonymous with a powering up. So just to sort of recap, we are going into a faster moving growth phase with power coming behind it, which I love. Then the moon is going to be in an opposition to Chiron. Now, this is going to be I think, showing us where we haven't been powered up before or where we've ignored our power. Now, the reason I say that is if you imagine the moon's here, it's going to be in an opposition to Chiron. It's already in a square to the sun, but it's also coming into a square with Pluto. So we've got a fixed, because Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus and Leo, these are all fixed signs. Okay, the sun is technically in a cardinal sign, but we're coming into a real fixed pattern here. So we've got a fixed grand square or great cross. And these are quite intractable. They're quite difficult to work through. But one thing that is really obvious at these times is that we get a bit of is it like a shudder? You know, like when you start to drive, and I did this loads when I was starting to learn to drive, where you sort of bunny hop up the road for a bit because you can't quite get the biting point. And so you kind of zoom forwards, but you're not ready to do it. And so there's this like uncomfortable jerkiness. That's what I'm really seeing. You know, the moon in opposition to Chiron is I think showing us where all of a sudden we lose confidence and we think, oh, no, I can't do this. That's not me. Oh, no. Where the sun in a square to the moon is saying, come on, you've got to do it. The sun in a square to Chiron is reminding us, you know, I actually am ready to be seen. I really want to be seen. And then the moon in a square to Pluto is really bringing in this feeling of, I have to do this. You know, I have to put in some effort. I've got to put in some blood, sweat and tears. So it's a real kind of bind. And it's an interesting energy because at the same time, it's being powered up by Jupiter sextile Uranus, which is exact. It's been around for ages. It's been kind of coming in. We've been feeling it more strongly over the last week, and it's just getting stronger and stronger. This is the pinnacle of it. So to me, there's a huge emphasis for us to start moving. Now, at the same time, the moon is going to go into a trine with the North Node up here. And it's later going into a square with Pluto, but it's also going to be going into a square with Jupiter as well. So not only is that grand fixed square working with the sun, Pluto, Chiron, and the moon, but it's also working with Jupiter, which absolutely puts even more emphasis on this, because your desire to be seen, your desire to be felt is just going to be, it's just going to be magnified. Like so much. So I do think Tuesday is going to bring us to a moment where we feel really quite tight in this, like the energy to kind of move forwards and shoot forwards is really strong. In particular, you know, with Uranus and Jupiter, I almost feel like, you know, those little, I compare things a lot to cars and toys and things, you know, because I've got three children, but I remember those toys and like these cars, and you kind of pull them back a couple of times and then you let them go and they zoom off. It's almost like you've been building everything up, like powering up, but you've had the handbrake on, and then all of a sudden you're getting ready to release it, almost like you're about to do a wheel spin. You know, Uranus and Jupiter have been building up this pressure for weeks now, months maybe, you know, this feeling of something is going to land, something is going to move. And, you know, you've still got the handbrake on, but your wheels are absolutely spinning like crazy. And so I really feel that this could be a day where you start to release it, or maybe you're just building up that tension, a bit like, sorry to put this in such personal terms, like you're lovemaking and you're feeling everything increase, but you're holding off from absolutely letting rip and having a gorgeous, glorious orgasm. You know, it's like that build up. This is build up in so many different ways. Now, interestingly, when we come to tomorrow, and obviously I'll be talking about that soon, we've got sextiles and a trine. So I really do see that we're going to release things, and maybe things are going to release in quite a dramatic way on Tuesday, and then we come into ease with it on Wednesday. Who knows? But I'd be really curious to hear how things are building up for you right now, and where it just feels like, oh my God, I can't contain it, because that's really what I'm seeing. But ultimately, the Jupiter sextile Uranus is, I think, really helpful. If you're ready to move forwards on something that has been dreamt about, this really is your time. So if you've been holding back, you haven't been making a clear decision, it really is time to make that decision now. and see where all of that energy is going to move you. So I hope that's helpful. Lots of love to you on Tuesday, the 21st of July, and check in with you soon. And we'll see what, the planets are giving us, what kind of conversations are going to come up tomorrow. So let's find out. Anyway, lots of love. Take care and catch you soon. Bye for now.